Today we're talking about the two new things coming to Smite soon. Or more specifically, one thing that Smite comes to. And that thing is the Nintendo Switch. Smite data mining has found out in the new patch as of today that there is data in the engine file for the new Smite patch that adds the Nintendo Switch under the Oasis tag, which was the same thing that happened, for example, for Paladins as well, when Paladins was getting its Switch release. The same thing has happened before. It's the same way that it was found out that Smite will be coming to PS4 at some point, and that's what we have today. It's also not surprising considering that Paladins and Smite generally use a relatively similar engine, and Paladins was the one that was often used for testing. They're both modified Unreal 3 engines, and for example, Paladins had voice chat in the game before Smite had, so with Paladins already being on Switch, it was probably only a matter of time until Smite makes it over there as well. What happened for Paladins specifically was that the graphics quality was lowered basically to the lowest resolution possible on PC, and that is most likely what I expect to happen for Smite as well, even though I think Smite is not that graphically taxing. With how the engine works, a lot of things are just very resource demanding, and the Switch obviously isn't the strongest platform when it comes to performance, but you will be able to play Smite probably at a decent enough level to see everything clearly, and that's honestly all that matters primarily. I don't think it's so important that the game looks super great over just being able to play it in general. Also, Paladins still runs at 60 FPS in return for those graphical downgrades, so I'm expecting the same thing to happen for Smite too. If you're a new player that finds this video a little bit later and you're playing on the Switch, by the way, I have a ton of info videos of all kinds on this channel, so feel free to stick around and check that stuff out. And my girlfriend Super Teets also makes a lot of Smite guides and also has a Switch and plays Switch games from time to time, so you can check her out as well. Just throwing that in there for you, for those of you who may find this video later. But there are other news today for us PC players as well. And that one is referring to the roll calling system. The roll calling is something that we already have on the consoles. You can choose your role and that will show up in the lobby so that others know which role you would like to play. What we don't know is how that will translate over to PC, because on PC you typically have your roll call where you just write whatever you want to play. And also on PC, that's usually how it's determined who gets the role, by whoever writes it first. So having an additional roll call option here might actually not change that much, because if 3 people call jungle through this new roll call function, then whoever wrote it in chat first will probably still be the one that's considered first for all intents and purposes. So what would have to happen is that the roll call system would have to work differently, meaning that it would have to do the same thing the roll call system in League of Legends does, where it matches 5 people together that all called different roles. And I'm really not sure if that's really possible, especially with Smite's current player base not being nearly the size of League of Legends, and that always having been the main issue with that sort of roll call system. You simply need a much bigger player pool for it to work effectively from what we've heard so far. So either Hi-Rez has completely changed their mind about that, or it will just be the same thing as on console and it might actually not change that much, unless it for some reason somehow establishes a different way of deciding who gets what role. We will probably find out in the near future. And that's all for today. I hope this was interesting and insightful. If you're new to the channel, feel free to click the sub button with the bell, it really helps me out. Other than that, thank you guys very much for watching. Hope to see you all for the next one tomorrow. DukeSloth out.